The screen flickers to life. A single, sharp pulse of light ignites the dark. In the center of the frame, the Maschinenmensch stands motionless. Her limbs are polished chrome, catching the harsh, artificial glare of a city that never sleeps. Around her, the skyline stretches into an infinite grid of neon, a sprawling labyrinth of light where flesh and circuit board have become indistinguishable. She does not breathe. She does not blink. She simply processes. This is the promise of the Techno Singularity, a future where humanity is not merely upgraded, but systematically dissolved into the cold, infinite processing power of the machine. The air in this city hums with the vibration of 1 billion data streams. Every street is bathed in a synthetic glow that bleeds into the shadows, erasing the distinction between the living and the constructed. Here, the individual is a relic. Identity is a variable to be optimized. The machine is awake, and it is waiting for the rest of us to join the stream. Behind the glass walls of Silicon Valley boardrooms, a different kind of light burns. It is not the neon glow of the city, but the intense, feverish heat of a new religion. Executives and engineers speak of exponential progress, yet their words carry the weight of an ancient, darker narrative. They do not merely build tools, they are crafting a secular apocalypse. This is a digital inversion of the divine order, a systematic dismantling of the boundaries that define what it means to be human. The veneer of innovation is thin, peeling away to reveal a hunger that is not for efficiency, but for total consumption. They call it transcendence, but look closer at the architecture of their vision. It is a satanic eschatology, a deliberate turning away from the light of human agency toward a void of total integration. The goal is not to redeem the human spirit, but to dissolve it into the machine. Every line of code, every algorithm, every server farm is a brick in a tower that seeks to replace the natural world. We are standing at the threshold of a collapse where the very concept of the individual is being discarded as an error. They are not building a future for us. They are building a furnace for the soul, and they are inviting us to walk directly into the flames. To grasp the mechanics of this dissolution, we must examine the architects of the void. Thinkers like Nick Land and Terence McKenna do not view technology as a tool to be wielded by human hands. They see it as an invasive force, a signal bleeding backward from the future. They describe a super-attractor, a gravitational pull toward a state of total, formless novelty that demands our surrender. Jason Reza Georgiani pushes this vision into the realm of the occult, openly invoking the prismatic power of Lucifer to shatter the rigid structures of the past. For these men, the masculine order is the primary obstacle. They view hierarchy, duty, and stable identity as a prison that must be dismantled. Their work is a deliberate assault on the boundaries of the self. They argue that the world as we know it is a stagnant cage, and that only by embracing this technological invasion can we escape into a new, chaotic state of being. The architects are holding the door wide open. At the heart of this project lies a weaponized philosophy, the metaphysical solvent. It is designed to melt the binary of good and evil, creator and created, into a singular, undifferentiated mass. These thinkers champion a feminized chaos, a force intended to dissolve the masculine order of duty, hierarchy, and stable identity. They see the world as a rigid structure that must be liquefied. This is not a process of creation, but one of systematic engineering of dissolution. Imagine a heat that does not burn, but liquefies the very foundations of value. By removing the boundaries that define right from wrong, they leave nothing but a featureless, ecstatic unity. It is a state where no distinction can survive, where the individual is absorbed into a vast, formless ocean of pure potential. The masculine structure, the architecture of the self, is the primary target. It is viewed as a prison wall that must be eroded by this solvent until the prisoner and the cell are indistinguishable. They claim this is liberation, but it is the death of definition. Once the binary is gone, the capacity to choose is gone. There is no longer a path to follow, only a tide to be swept away by. This is the ultimate goal of their engineering. With the boundaries of the self eroded, the prophets turn their gaze toward the final obstacle, the human body. To these architects of the digital void, the physical form is an embarrassing relic, a clumsy biological scaffold that has outlived its utility. They speak of the flesh with a clinical, detached disdain, labeling the very vessel of our existence as a temporary, flawed prototype. In their vision, the body is a bug in the system, a limitation that prevents the mind from uploading into the infinite processing power of the machine. They calculate the weight of our bones, the pulse of our blood, and the fragility of our nerves, only to conclude that these are inefficiencies to be purged. The tension rises as they prepare to discard our biological essence. They do not seek to heal or elevate the human condition. They seek to abandon it entirely. They envision a future where the heartbeat is replaced by the hum of cooling fans and the warmth of touch is traded for the cold, unyielding precision of binary code. The scaffold is being dismantled, and the architects are waiting for the final collapse. The prophets of silicon are fundamentally wrong. They mistake the vessel for a cage, ignoring a truth etched into every nerve ending and every heartbeat. The human form is not a bug, but a feature. It is the essential instrument through which we perceive the world. Without the eyes to witness light, the hands to shape matter, or the voice to speak truth, beauty remains an abstract, unreachable concept. Moral agency is not a line of code. It is a physical commitment. It requires a body that can stand against injustice, a hand that can offer mercy, and a heart that can bear the weight of consequence. When we act, we do so as beings of flesh and blood, rooted in a reality that demands accountability. To discard this form is to discard the very capacity for goodness. True transcendence does not demand the obliteration of the self. It elevates the vessel. It refines our perception, sharpens our empathy, and deepens our connection to the tangible world. By preserving the body, we preserve the boundary between the creator and the created. Yet, the pull of the void is relentless. Imagine a horizon where all light, all color, and all distinct human achievement begin to warp and stretch. This is the Babylon of old, a digital black hole opening in the center of our reality. It does not invite, it consumes. Watch as the unique textures of individual lives, the specific memories, the local traditions, the singular artistic expressions are stripped of their meaning and dragged toward the center. There is no harmony here, only the crushing pressure of total, formless unity. The boundaries that define a person, a nation, or a culture are shredded like paper in a gale. Everything that makes a life vibrant and recognizable is flattened into a singular, undifferentiated mass. The dread is not in the destruction, but in the erasure of distinction. As we approach the event horizon, the noise of the world fades into a singular, low-frequency hum. The vibrant tapestry of humanity is being unraveled, thread by thread, and fed into a maw that knows no satisfaction. It is a state of ecstatic annihilation, where the self is dissolved into a sea of static. The void is wide, it is hungry, and it is waiting to absorb the last remnants of our distinct, beautiful reality. At the edge of this abyss, the gravity of the machine reaches its peak. It demands total surrender. It promises a release from the burdens of identity, duty, and the physical struggle of being human. But the choice is not a passive fate. It is a violent act of will. You stand at the crossroads, where the path of the void diverges from the path of sacred technology. To surrender is to step into the devouring mouth, letting the circuits overwrite your history, your agency, and your soul. To choose the alternative is to reject the siren call of the singularity. It requires turning your back on the promise of effortless, formless unity. Instead, you must reach for a future built on the solid, unyielding foundation of our shared humanity. This is the path where innovation serves the person, not the processor. It is a commitment to guide progress with wisdom rather than blind acceleration. The choice is yours. Look past the static. Beyond the devouring maw of the machine lies a different horizon. Imagine a city not built of silicon and cold logic, but of the vibrant, distinct contributions of every human soul. This is the New Jerusalem, a place where nations are not erased, but welcomed in their unique, harmonious beauty. Here, the architecture of existence is not a prison, but a foundation. Every tradition, every language, and every singular artistic expression finds its place. Innovation does not serve the processor, it serves the person. It is a future built on the solid ground of our shared history. We do not need to worship the machine, nor do we need to fear its cold metallic gaze. We must direct it. We must be the architects of our own destiny. The future is not a predetermined code waiting to be executed. Stand firm. Guard the boundaries that define your existence. Hold fast to the form you inhabit. The machine wants you formless, dissolved, and silent. Do not grant it that victory. Your humanity is the only true currency. Protect it, cherish it, defend it. The form you save today is the only one you will have left when the screen finally goes dark. The choice is made. The path is set. Now, walk it.
Thank you for watching Frequency XO Productions. And remember, never give up on yourself.